Today we're going to be talking about the Space Shuttle Challenger disaster. So what happened? On January 28th, 1986, the Space Shuttle Challenger broke apart, resulting in the death of these 7 people pictured here. Thousands of people were watching as the dream turned into a nightmare. In fact, one of the main reasons people were so interested in this launch was um, the woman representing teachers in space. So the disintegration of the vehicle began after a joint in the right SRB failed at liftoff. This was caused by the failure of O-ring seals used in the joint, which were not adequate to withstand the extremely low temperatures of the time of the launch. So what should NASA have done differently? The disaster was due to more than just faulty equipment. NASA had sidestepped many of its own safety protocols to launch the spacecraft. It had been repeatedly warned of the risks involved with the O-ring, but they decided to launch despite all warnings. According to History.com, the commission ultimately flagged the root cause of the accident as a serious flaw in the decision-making process leading up to the launch. This is such a lame excuse for the loss of 7 lives. If there were legitimate warnings, they should have listened but instead they chose to do it for the sake of the PR for the sake of their um of their respectability. So Roger Boisjoly, pardon my pronunciation, 6 months before the launch, he tried to warn the managers at Thiokol of the O-ring concerns. According to NPR, armed with the data that described the possibility, he and his colleagues argued persistently and vigorously for hours. At first, they agreed with them and formally recommended a launch delay, but NASA officials on a conference call challenged that recommendation. I think that Roger did all that he could and NASA refused to listen. He literally went to the highest ups that he could in his company, but NASA, the people that decided whether the launch was to continue, they refused to listen. So, what are my responsibilities as an engineering professional? While it's important to be loyal to management, protecting public welfare should be valued above all else. If lives are at risk, it's not worth the money, at least for me. I know that this is easier said than done. Livelihoods are important, and many people aren't willing to endanger their jobs, but I think that above all else, we should value public welfare. Here are my sources. Thank you.